Hello everyone, I'm back here at the Railroad Diamonds again, and this time I'm across the diamonds from the station. That train station was built in 1902, and we've got the Norfolk Southern tracks here to my left, and the rest of the tracks are all CSX tracks. So I'm getting some different views, and we've got several trains getting ready to come across these diamonds right now. So we're going to get a different view from this side over here. So go ahead and start the video, son. Here we go. We are back at Marion, Ohio, Marion Union Station. All right, we've got a train coming. It's going to be a westbound on the CSX line. Does that show up? That's green on top. There's also a train in that yard over there. You can see that light. They're just doing some switching. And there's a local waiting to get across the diamonds here on the Norfolk Southern. But it looks like the first train is going to be coming from that direction, a CSX. So let's see what happens. We got live action at the diamonds. There's a train right there waiting on Norfolk Southern, waiting to go westbound, because we've got a train over here going westbound on CSX. was Loud. Empty auto racks train. Got 4 sets of diamonds here and 4 sets down at the other end. 8 railroad diamonds here altogether. Train time at the diamonds. The train sitting down there is waiting to come across, a little short local. And there's also another train that's been waiting way up that way, about a mile, mile and a half, something like that, to go eastbound. The Norfolk and Southern tracks run east and west, even though geographically they're north and south. And the CSX tracks here are also east and west. So figure that one out. There you go. And there's a nice looking Canadian Pacific Railway gon. See that? That gon weighs about 38 tons empty and can hold about 104 tons when fully loaded. So you add those two numbers together and that is a lot of weight. And if you notice, up in Canada, they use the word railway instead of railroad. Like Canadian Pacific Railway, Canadian National Railway, whereas here in the United States, we mainly use the word railroad. Cincinnati Eastern Railroad, that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm hearing another train horn, so let's get over here to the diamonds and get our train. Okay, it's Norfolk Southern's turn to come across the diamonds. Here comes the local, running westbound. Got a runner. Thanks for looking up. Two trains passing, check it out. That's pretty. was loud. I mean, really loud. These diamonds are loud. I noticed a difference in these and the ones that are in Greenwich, Ohio. The ones in Greenwich, Ohio are really quiet. These diamonds here are just loud. Well, that was pretty good. 2 trains in a row, both passing each other. And we had another train coming before these 2, so really there's 3 trains in a row. Train time at the diamonds. Different look over here on this side. Thanks for watching. Okay, there's a train coming on the, not this track, but another track. But I'm gonna zoom in. We've got 140 pounds per yard, rolled by USS Illinois, and 1971, maybe July. It's kind of hard to see the dashes. Just think of all trains been on that rail. 140 pounds per yard. That's pretty good size rail. Here's some interesting stuff. Got some panel sections of track. So they're in the weeds over here, all kind of stacked up. You got some parts for the diamonds. And this panel section of track right here says Fairground Street on top of it. 49 feet. And if you notice, these railroad ties are a lot longer next to where the road crossing would be. Once you get away from the railroad crossing, they get a little bit shorter. See that? Look at the difference. Big difference. Just thought that was interesting. And right over here are some parts for the diamonds. There's a really good one over here to look at. Look at that one. Let's go get another train. All right. Westbound train, Norfolk Southern. DPU, I see you. Going over the diamonds right now. Empty coal train headed westbound with a DPU on the back. Now that was pretty awesome. Right over here next to the Norfolk Southern building. Thanks for watching. All right, we got another eastbound train coming, Norfolk Southern.
Yeah, I covered a lot of territory filming that train. They're booking right along. Well, we're getting some good action up here. We'll see what comes up next. I'd like to hang out in those balconies at night and watch the trains from up there. They ought to fix that place up and make it a bed and breakfast for train fans. I think that'd be a good idea. Well, thanks for watching.
Hey, we got a Caboose coming right now. New York Central Caboose. Here we go. Putting on a show. The Caboose, always a rail fan favorite. Got here just in time for that. Now that was really cool. Old New York Central Caboose. They still use that daily over here for long reverse moves. Eight more. I guess they're gonna stop. And there's your different look at the station. Yep, there we go. We got one coming. Love that sound of the trains going across those diamonds like that, slamming the diamonds. That is really cool. It's almost like a drum set going. A lot of rail fans here today too. And I'm right over here by the Caboose. Check this out. There's a rail fan over there. What's up? Let's see this Caboose here. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of trains up here. Well, I'm going to look around, see what else we can find in between trains. See if we can find something interesting here. Marion is the county seat for Marion County and is located about 50 miles north of Columbus, Ohio. Has a population of 35,531. And this is where Warren Harding was born, our 29th president, born right here in Marion and spent the majority of his life here in Marion, at least a large portion of his life anyway. Hey, I'm inside the train station in between trains. So let's have a quick look around here. There's the signals. I do have a video of those actually working, the signals. Look at that. And let's have a look in the main room here.
They repainted this not too long ago. I think the last time I was here they had scaffolding set up. Check out that roof, look at that. Marion Union Station. Let's have a look over here at the telegraph office. There you go. Now, if you worked in this room, you got the best view in the house. Look there, you got the railroad diamonds right there. Diamonds there, and there's diamonds over that way too, right there. So if you want to watch trains back in the day, this is where you worked. And there's a local doing some switching in the yard right now. So I'm gonna go back outside to get a train because one could pop up at any time. Don't want to miss anything. So here we go, we're going back outside. Oh, we got another room here to check out. Let's have a look inside here. Have a look inside this room here before we go back outside. Yeah, I come here a few times a year. Maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. Look at this. Got some information on there you can click and read. Let's have a look here. All right, just click and read at your leisure. Here's another one about the Caboose. Well, I think I showed a 360 here, and we're gonna go back outside and get some live action now. There you go. All right, here comes a local reversing. I'll be reversing across the diamonds. Got somebody riding on that last car. They need a Caboose on that one. All right, check this out. We got a train coming right now, a westbound on the Norfolk Southern line. There is another train behind me waiting to go east. So we might have 2 trains coming. Let's have a look here.
car before. The loser twin again. I filmed that one before. I got that car in Crescent Springs, Kentucky, and I remember asking what it said because I couldn't tell. So now I'm all the way up here north of Columbus and Marion. Same car. That's pretty cool. Slamming the diamonds. What's that one? Wow, that is pretty rough on those diamonds. Now, when I was standing over there in the corner a little bit ago, filming right in the corner of that fence, I could feel the ground shaking when those trains were going across the diamonds. Every time they slammed that diamond, you could feel the ground shaking. So that's got to be constant maintenance. It takes a lot of work to keep those things up. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully there's another train coming from that direction right there. We think there was one waiting for this one.
Jesse.